Hey, what's going on, guys? Trixoy here, back with another video. Today, what we'll be going through is the first time that I got suspended. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, please like and subscribe. We are on the road to 500 subscribers currently, and all the support that you guys can give is much appreciated. Thank you. So yeah, in today's story time, before we get started, we need a little bit of a backstory. How did I get suspended? Well, to start, we need to go back in time a little bit. The last two stories I went over were around the same time. We're looking at like the 2023 era. I was around 16 years old, the winter springtime. Now we're going back to my middle school days, my grade 8 days to be specific. Now, Trixoy back in grade 8 was not much of a delinquent. I was a pretty good kid. I liked school. I liked to study. I liked good grades. However, I started hanging around some new people around this time, started making some new friends, started making some different choices. I was still good in school, don't get me wrong, but we started getting up to some no good shit, if you know what I mean. Now, for today's story time, the main friend that I had at this time, we're going to call him... Let's call him, trying to think of a basic name to use for him. Brady. Okay. So me and Brady, his name's not actually Brady. We were pretty good friends. Like, we were in a lot of the same classes together. And, we spent quite a bit of time together just messing around, doing dumb shit. I mean, we weren't like the bestest of friends, but I'd say because, like at the time, if you're in the similar classes, you're around them a lot, you're going to get up to stuff with them. Now, Brady, he was a bit different than like the normal group I would hang around. Like, had a little bit of an interesting family dynamic going on. He wasn't too focused on school. So now with me at the time, I was kind of opposite. Like, I grew up pretty normal family, pretty into school. So I don't know really how we became friends, but we did. And I remember that we would always ditch class together, We just go out. And our middle school was pretty strict, like, it wasn't high school yet where like, oh, you ditch classes, whatever. No, it's like they will look for you if you're not in class, especially if you were in attendance and you're not excused. So I remember we would just hang out during school hours. We'd walk around the halls, talk to girls, little middle school activities. Now, I wasn't anything special back in middle school. I had like this afro, like my hair was super long, curly, it would stand like 2 inches off my head. And I was acne filled. Like, we weren't getting any bitches at the time, but that's okay. And yeah, no, we just go around, time to talk to girls, spit some game, nothing crazy. And I remember one day in specific, I think this was during like, I think it was relatively like at the beginning of the school year, like it had to be before Christmas break. I remember he came up to me and said, hey, I got to show you, like we were out at lunch break. And I remember there used to be like this like basketball area where we'd all play basketball and stuff like that. So like, okay. So he showed me, he had this little tiny vape. And I believe it was like a Stealth. I'll pop up a picture on the screen so you guys know what I'm talking about. But it was a little Stealth. And at the time I vaped here and there, but I never really had one of my own after my mom smashed my first one I had. Yeah. But anyways, he had a little Stealth and I was kind of interested, I was like, it's been a while since I've vaped. I could go for a little nicotine dose. Sure enough, I'm still sitting here vaping to this day. Don't vape, by the way. So disclaimer, do not do anything done in this video. So, he asked me if I was interested in partaking in some vaping. And I was a little hesitant at first, but it didn't take me much persuading to be like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And I thought it was so cool. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go vape. Let's do this. But looking back at it, like, it's fucking cringy as shit. But anyways, so, like smart kids, we could have walked off the school premises and did it and then probably not get caught. But like any dumb teenager, we just decided to go in the school bathrooms and do it. And to try to describe what our bathrooms were like, it would be like you'd have to open a door first. You know, you open a door to go in. And like I don't know why they had like the weirdest bathrooms ever. Like the whole school was like teal colored kinda. So like there was like teal floor and walls. And then they had like I don't you know like the blurry glass. I don't know how to describe it, but they had like blurry glass in it that would like divide kind of like there would be like two sections of the bathroom. There would be like the sinks and stuff, and then there'd be the blurry glass, and there'd be urinals, and then like an actual stall. Only one stall though, because why not? You know, kids don't shit at school apparently. So yeah, I remember we were past like the blurry glass, like near the urinals, and we were just vaping, chilling. There was just like me, him, and I think there was one other dude with us that were hanging out. And this was like our routine. Like every lunch now, we would, for like probably a week straight, we would just walk around all the school bathrooms and hit up vaping. Now, we didn't stay at one for too long because we didn't want to be suspicious, but sure enough, you know, walking bathroom to bathroom, if a principal or something sees that, like they're going to ask questions like, why is this group of kids walking back and forth? And I remember he had like a blueberry flavored vape. So like, you know, when you vape it, you would definitely smell that in the air. So after going from bathroom to bathroom to bathroom for about a week straight, eventually something caught on. And I noticed when I went to class after lunch, my boy Brady was not in class. And that started causing a concern to me. And then, I don't know, I wasn't like too worried, but I was like, well, that's weird. I just saw him not that long ago. Sure enough, 30 minutes later, like I think it was, yeah, like half an hour went by, and our principal walks into the class and talks to my teacher and asks me to get up and bring my stuff and go into his office because he needs to have a chat with me. And to describe what this guy was like, he was like a short, bald dude with like a really thick beard. And like his office was like dark. Like he just had like a little lamp in the corner, and you could see like the hallways, but he'd always have his blinds closed. So his blinds were closed. All he has is a little lamp in the corner, and there's just me and him. And low-key, I was scared shitless because I was like, why the fuck am I here right now? What did I do? But so yeah, he proceeded to ask me questions about why me and Brady were going in and out of the bathrooms together all throughout lunches. Like he said he watched security cameras, and it just looked suspicious. And he already talked to Brady, and I was like, well, what did Brady say? And he's like, oh, no, that's not important. He just wanted to know what I was doing. And I didn't really tell him a whole lot. I just kind of just sat there and was like, oh, I don't know. I was just hanging out with him. And sure enough, he eventually came to the conclusion. He said, well, I found that Brady had a vape. And if you're not going to talk to me about this, I'm just going to assume that you were doing that as well, which is prohibited on our school campus. And I was starting to shit bricks now because I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? Like I didn't really know. Like this is my first time having to really deal with the principals. So I was like, I don't know. And I was just sitting there shitting bricks now. And looking back at this, like, honestly, it's whatever, you know, like getting caught vaping at school. There's worse shit that could happen, but I mean, at the end of the day, he kind of just sat there questioning me. He searched my bag. He didn't find anything on me. So for not cooperating with him, he just put me on a suspension for one day out of school, luckily, so I didn't have to fucking go to school. Now, my buddy, on the other hand, he got it a little bit worse. He got a week. Yeah, a week. Felt bad for the guy, but shit happens. And they also took away his vape, which was the downer for me, because now I was like, oh shit, now I can't vape. Which, I mean, you know, it is what it is. He ended up phoning my parents. My parents were pissed off at me. And I was like, all right, well, lesson learned, I guess. Lesson learned. Well, luckily, my friend, you know, after we talked about it, and he was like, yeah, bud, shit happens. He wasn't really sorry that it happened. I wasn't either. We kind of knew the risk associated to what we were doing. So it wasn't really no shock when we both got screwed over. I'll tell you though, for the rest of the school year, I did not like that vice principal. So you When I finally graduated from middle school, bro, I was so thrilled because I didn't have to deal with that fucking moron. Like, he was a scary ass dude, I'm not gonna lie to you. Anyways, the moral of the story is if you're gonna get up to dumb shit at school, be aware there is consequences associated with doing so. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Like I said, on the road to 500 subscribers. We'll have another video coming out sooner than later. Sorry for the long delay in between the last two episodes. I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more consistent going forward. Once again, thank you all for watching. Trixoy is out. Peace.